Caleb, it's really interesting. I've never seen. I've always seen the had. The had? What does that stand for? HADD.
Yeah, hyperactive agency detection device. Yeah, the HAD.
There you go. I've always I've always heard that used to say, well, the only reason you believe in God is because you're, this agency detection, and I've only heard that used to try to undermine belief rather than, all right, well,
Yeah,
if you think evolution gives us true beliefs and it gave us that, you know,
yeah.
that's
It's just a weird. Daniel didn't people use that, and I'm kind of confused as to why that's supposed to be a bad thing. It's like, okay, our belief in God came through evolution. Guess what? Most of our beliefs about the world come through evolution. So what? I don't see. Well, I think it's expected that if a God's guiding the process of evolution, we would get something like this.
that's
It'd be
interesting.
worse. I think it'd be worse for the theist. I'm sorry, I'll stop talking because I know someone has their hand up. But I just would say it'd be worse for the theist if we had a world in which most people didn't believe in God or anything supernatural, and this was this very fringe concept. I think that would be much less likely to theism.
You're really starting to cut out right now. Fortunately, you were great throughout the presentation, but right now you're really kind of starting to cut out a bit.
Is it still bad?
Oh, that's better. Yeah, perfect. That's interesting. All right, so to kind of summarize, it's if and correct me if I'm wrong here. It sounds like your presentation essentially has two parts. First is like a more modest claim, where you're simply saying that those who believe and have these religious experiences are justified on the basis of it seeming to them that God exists, that they're having this experience of God, that justifies their belief in God, apart from defeaters. So that's like the more modest side. And then the stronger side is you get into evolution and say essentially, well, look, evolution. If you believe that evolution has formed us in order to form true beliefs, here it's formed us with this, agency detection. We have it universally from birth because it's even present in infants, such that atheism is really more learned than it is inherent, and that if you believe that evolution, that the beliefs that are advantageous are at least more justified to be true. I don't think you mean that like it makes it true because it's more advantageous, but that rather we're more justified in believing advantageous beliefs. Is that
It's more probably true because, well, if you're going to say truth comports with reality, and you're going to
okay?
say that and that beliefs that are good for survival reflect the reality of our environment, then
Okay.
that's kind of where I'm getting at there. It's just a probability statement. So, um,
Okay.
if it's a belief that's going to make it hard for you to survive, then it's probably not accurate to your environment. You're more likely to survive on things that are correct, right? So that's kind of the idea.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. And so yeah, I guess is the basic framework then, and we'll go to questions in just a moment. I'm just trying to like summarize for
Yeah.
because it was um, the basic framework then is just like evolution gave us pretty much universally the belief that 2 + 2 = 4, and that's true. If evolution gave us universally this feeling or this seeming that there's a teleology behind the world, that there's this purpose behind the world, then we can be justified on the basis of that and thinking it is. One of the points that I don't think you spent a lot of time on early on is the blind man analogy. So it kind of occurred to me. I don't know if you meant this or maybe I'm reading too much into it. But like the blind man, say somebody's blind from birth, they've literally never seen anything, and yet it seems like they'd be not only justified in believing that there's such a thing as light, but irrational if they denied in the face of all of this overwhelming testimony to there being light. It seems like they would almost be irrational, even though they've never experienced light personally, on the basis of everybody else, or at least the vast majority of people saying, "Yeah, I see light." That they should say that, okay, well, I don't see it, but the light must be there.
Yeah, and you have to ask, is it more likely that everyone who sees light is incorrect and that they have the wrong senses, or is it more likely that the minority of people who are blind, who don't see it, are incorrect? And I think we would all agree, people who see light, it's more likely that that's, not only because it has a lot more advantageous, it's a lot more advantageous for survival, but also just because it's like the probability of that kind of belief being preserved to that scale and being incorrect is pretty low. So, yeah, that's a good point.
Thank you for listening. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. Please also look at the show notes in order to find a link to our group so that you can join our next discussion. I look forward to chatting with you.